Looking for recruiting news you can use? Welcome to Recruiting Headlines, powered by RecruitingHeadlines.com, a short news segment for recruiters who need to know. Today's episode is sponsored by RecTech Live, on-demand and live webinar learning for recruiters. Go to RecTechLive.com to access past shows and see what's coming.
Well, welcome to a new segment here on the RecTech podcast. I'm Chris Russell. I wanted to alert listeners to important news affecting the world of online recruiting. So at least a few times a month, I'll be highlighting a few of the news items in the headlines with my take on what that means for recruiting. So you will see some extra shows in your feed, starting with this one. With that, I have a couple topics here for this inaugural episode to tell you about. First up is some news about the Facebook job board. So I was at last week's JobGate conference in Nashville, Tennessee, where recruiting blogger Matt Charney gave one of the keynotes. And in that keynote, he shared a picture of a supposed new feature on the Facebook jobs board. He says they're working on a candidate to job matching tool, as well as API access for applicant tracking systems. He told the crowd he could not reveal his source. So if this is true, it'll make it a lot easier to see potential candidates on the site with this new matching feature. So just imagine posting a job for a cook, for example, and then being shown other cooks in your area with that job title on your profile, maybe even by radius, so within 5 or 10 miles or 20 miles. This type of job matching is definitely gaining adoption among many vendors, from sourcing tools to job boards. A lot of stuff being funded these days is touts on matching technology, whether it's like an Intello or even ExecThread, which is a executive level job board that just launched their own matching tool. I think matching is definitely part of the next generation of job boards here. As for the ATS portion, that's something that's needed, but I question whether Facebook's going to do it or not. I think the reason they made the job board on Facebook the way it is to keep people on Facebook. When someone applies, you can't direct them to your ATS. You can't export them. It all sits within your company profile page there in the back end. That's where all the data is stored. Now, a lot of corporate employers have complained about that. So the question is, will Facebook listen to them and build some kind of ATS API plugin here for them? We'll see. I think it's not as likely as the matching piece, which is a lot easier for them to do. And again, if they want to keep people on the platform, I'm not sure why they would go with the ATS route, but we'll see. I don't put it past them, and Matt has a lot of good contacts out there, so we'll see what happens with this particular story. But I'll definitely keep you updated on Recruiting Headlines about it all. LinkedIn was in the news last week as well. They're rolling out voice messaging on the iOS and Android apps. So that means instead of typing your text, you can create a message, a voice message, just like this podcast, on mobile and web. It's rolling out slowly over the next few weeks, and you can read about it on RecruitingHeadlines.com. I did share an animated GIF of how it works and what it looks like. So you may not see the feature yet on your phone. I don't have it on mine yet, but it's a pretty interesting move by LinkedIn. A long time ago, I built a app called JobSpeak, which let employers post jobs and add audio to it. So I've always been a big fan of audio and the job world overall. So this would be an interesting thing for recruiters to use now that they can, get creative, even more creative, with a voice message to a candidate, perhaps. So look for that feature in the coming weeks. And finally, I wrote a story about Emissary on Recruiting Headlines. Emissary is a text recruiting tool, one of only a few out there, including stuff like Text Recruit or Canvas. That tool is built by the people who created Juju, the other job aggregator you don't hear too much about, but have been around for a while. Their tool, Emissary, is emissary.ai. It offers one-to-one texting, short codes, so share by text, so you can share a job listing by text, which is neat. Text retargeting and text campaigns. We can upload a list of contacts and then bulk message them through a text message. So check out Emissary AI on the story. Just click on the blog over at Recruiting Headlines. And that's going to do it for this show. I hope you enjoyed the quick news update. and hope you like this new podcast. We'll see how it goes in the coming weeks, and look for more as news happens. I'm Chris Russell. Thanks for listening.
That's it for now. Be sure to sign up for our daily newsletter that delivers all the day's top stories every afternoon direct to your inbox. Subscribe at recruitingheadlines.com.